every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Thank you for joining us on CoreTV News at 7. I am Frank Omalape, and here are some of the stories filing in at this hour. The Department of State Security has issued an alert on the theft of a regalia of a Catholic nun in Kano. It fears that the perpetrators may plan to use the outfit for terror acts. The SS spokesman Marilyn Oga said in a statement that 13 pieces of the religious outfit were stolen from a tailor shop during the week in Sabangari area of Kano. The State Security Outfit says it stem from recent trend of female suicide bombings in that part of the country. It therefore warned Nigerians to exercise greater vigilance with users of such attires while soliciting cooperation from members of the public through provisions of useful information. Inspector General of Police Sulaiman Abba has refused to comment on claims that insurgents have taken over the police academy in Igoza, Borno State. CoreTV News threw the question at him on the sidelines of the decoration of senior police officers in Abuja, but he said the police spokesman would issue a response to.
It is said that the members of the terrorist group Boko Haram have taken over Goza in Maiduguri. Can you confirm this to us?
Well, the first PRO will certainly brief you where necessary.
The Bring Back Our Girls group on Friday staged a protest march in Abuja to commemorate the 130th day of the abduction of 219 schoolgirls from Chibok, Borno State by insurgents. The march took members of the group from the Unity Fountain venue of their daily sit-outs to the Federal Secretariat. Speaking during the march, the campaign's convener Obi Ezekwesili said the girls have suffered enough in the hands of their abductors and should not be ignored by government and Nigerians. Other speakers appealed to President Goodluck Jonathan to use all available means to get the girls back, while also calling on government to protect its citizens and territory from terrorists.
We who are saying to the federal government, get the Chibok girls, we are in that statement saying to the federal government, deal with the terrorists, get the girls. You cannot leave Nigeria to be under this kind of a feeling of weakness, as if we are suddenly a nation state that is not capable. We're talking about terrorists. No matter the number they are, we are Nigeria. This is Nigeria. When did we become such a weak country? We're not weak. We must go after these terrorists and get our girls. We need to get our girls in order to make a clear statement to any sets of people that they cannot do this to Nigeria.
I think it's absolutely necessary that government should consider all means, and that includes negotiating with them. That may include meeting some of their needs, because the lives of these girls are extremely precious, and whatever needs to be done to secure their release should be done.
We're still demanding that the girls should be rescued. They deserve to be rescued. When you have a government in place, the number one responsibility of government is to provide security and well-being. And wherever these girls are, it is the responsibility of government to ensure that they are brought back alive. Government has said since May that it knows where the girls are. So what is stopping the government from getting the girls back and alive?
Some members of the All Progressive Congress have begun a clamor for Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso to join the race for the party's presidential ticket. The members addressed a press conference in Abuja where they outlined what they say are qualities that stand out Kwankwaso in Nigeria's main opposition party. The politicians have also formed a pro-Kwankwaso group to facilitate their quest.
He has run the executive aspect of the government. He was governor
2 times, and he also was deputy speaker. That means the National Assembly also he has basic experience to manage them. He also was Minister of Defense. These are key factors that bring about good leadership, and that is why we feel he can. We are saying we have seen good qualities or better qualities in him. So we will agitate him, we will force him to contest.
We have come together welded by a strong belief in the Kwankwasia ideology, which seeks essentially to propagate selfless service to the Nigerian people. Our collective aim and objective is to humbly persuade His Excellency to agree to lead Nigerians as our preferred presidential candidate in the forthcoming presidential elections come 2015. We have come to this compelling and convincing resolution after dispassionately assessing all the prospective presidential candidates of our great party, and after due consideration, we have come to the conclusion that His Excellency is incontestably the man that the cap fits.
The leadership of the People Democratic Party in Kaduna has endorsed President Goodluck Jonathan for his second term in office. The leaders also passed a vote of confidence on Governor Mukhtar Yero at a stakeholders meeting. Speaking at the occasion, Speaker of the House of Assembly said PDP lawmakers are rooting for Yero, who became governor after his predecessor Patrick Yakowa died in a helicopter crash in December 2012. Local government chairmen from all 23 council areas also endorsed Governor Yero and foreclosed the possibility of primaries. In the state responding, the governor who spoke in House said he believed in destiny and used the opportunity to declare his interest in seeking a return to office. A former Minister of Information, Edwin Clark, says President Goodluck Jonathan will contest the 2015 presidential election and that nobody can stop him. He explains there was no way another 4 years of Jonathan's presidency will bring an end to the country, adding that all those who had ruled the country before spent 2 terms. Clark stated this in Abuja on Friday while playing host to a delegation of Northern Women in Politics under the aegis of Northern Women Mass Movement for President Jonathan 2015 ambition. He says he was sorry for those Northern Elders Forum who had claimed had been accusing the president of neglecting their region. Clark added that it was wrong to accuse the president of developing his region, adding that he even resisted pressure to appoint the Inspector General of Police from his region. He also noted that for the first time in the history of the nation, 2 Inspectors General of Police were appointed consecutively from the north. The Lagos State Governor Babatude Fashola has promised unhindered access to service for residents of the state. Fashola stated this while addressing journalists after State Executive Council and Permanent Secretary's retreat held in Victoria Island, Lagos. He maintained that the state government will continue to explore innovative ways that will bring governance nearer to the people.
So it's nothing really exoteric. We're just raising standards, we always self-challenge, and in order to improve upon what we have done. We review what we have done before, we see how well it is working, how citizens are reacting to it, and what we can do to improve it. We continue to self-examine ourselves, check that assignments that we are given have been carried out, and if they haven't been carried out, who is holding us back? The team must always win.
The theme of this year's retreat, which marks the 66th edition, is TAG, upscaling the processes and benefits of e-governance in Lagos. Last may not have been heard of the removal of Murtala Nyako as Adamawa State Governor. A legal firm, Flex Chambers, led by Ulukoya Ugungbeje, has approached the Lagos High Court to declare the former governor's impeachment illegal. The presiding vacation judge, Okona Bangu, will excuse the case when it came up for mention at the Lagos High Court, explained that the plaintiff and the defense counsels need to come to compromise for the case to proceed in vacation. Mateo also was there and filing this report.
Mixed reactions have continued to trail the July 23rd impeachment of Adamawa State Governor Murtala Yako. While many believe that the action taken by Adamawa lawmakers is justified for the fact that the governor failed to account for state funds he was accused of misappropriating, others argue that he was hoodwinked out of office as the impeachment did not follow due process. Far away from Adamawa State, legal practitioners with a passion for God and the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution have challenged the decision of the Adamawa State House of Assembly to impeach Nyako, claiming it is unconstitutional. These individuals have decided to approach the Federal High Court to declare the former governor's removal illegal so as to set the right precedents in law. Head Solicitor Law Felix Chambers Olukoya Ogunbeje says that the trial of Murtala Yako was biased and a complete breach of his fundamental human right to fair hearing.
If you say Murtala Yako has embezzled 20 billion, whatever, we are not interested in that. I don't know Yako from anywhere. I don't know him from Adam. But you see, the world is a global village. What comes around goes around, or what goes around turns around. So, as a constitutional lawyer, I think I have a duty to the Nigerian nation to challenge any constitutional infraction. And by so doing, I'm even doing a great service to myself, to the human community, to Nigeria and the world at large.
Counsel to the plaintiffs stressed that victory in this case will set the right precedents in law and send the signal to politicians that they would not get away with impunity.
They really want to impeach him based on the merits. People should not get this wrong. Our argument before the court is not on the merits. It's not on whether he is guilty or is not guilty. That's not the point. Rule of law simply means that whatever you're going to do as a government body or agency, you must follow the procedures of the law. Failure to do that vitiates everything that you have done.
This case is one that will be keenly followed by politicians and the media world. As we speak, the Independent Electoral Commission is planning a by-election for Adamawa State. Many believe the era of Murtala Yako as Adamawa governor is gone for good. However, the set of lawyers are hell-bent on having Nyako's impeachment declared null and void. Time will reveal to us on whose side the law is. For Motayo Alo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Constitutional lawyer Fred Agbaje has condemned the impeachment saga going on in some parts of the country, describing it as a function of a weak constitution. He noted that some individuals are capitalizing on the loopholes in the constitution to create confusion in the polity. For Agbaje, a constitution should clearly state what constitutes an impeachable offense. This means the recent impeachment move against the Enugu State Deputy Governor as laughable.
When you look at Section 188 of the Constitution, where impeachable conduct is defined, one, as any action of the governor or deputy governor that violates any of the clear provisions of this constitution, any action that violates it is an impeachment conduct. That's one. The second one, which is the most embarrassing definition I have never seen, and unintelligent definition as the second one, which has to do with the fact that an impeachable conduct is any act which members of the House of Assembly consider to be a misconduct. Impeachable conduct under the Constitution means any act that amounts to violation of the Constitution, or any act which the members of the State House Assembly consider to be a misconduct. The question is this. The problem is always with the second leg of that definition of impeachable conduct. Nothing to do with the management of the office of the governor or the office of the deputy governor. It has nothing to do with his performance. Otherwise, what has the rearing of fowl, whether for commercial or not commercial basis? And the man says, yes, I'm rearing it, but it's not for commercial basis. But they said it's for commercial. Won't tell you, Baba lady. How has that? The question I would have asked myself is this: how does the rearing of chicken or the sale of egg, how does it affect my performance as a deputy governor? Impeachment, misconduct.
So are we good to say that the Nigerian Constitution is faulty?
It's fundamentally faulty. That's my answer. It's fundamental. When they begin to talk about amendment of the present Constitution, whether by the members of the National Assembly or the defunct members of what do you call them that have just folded them?
National conference.
National conference. These are the areas I had expected members of the national conference to look at. How do we amend this incessant? How do we bring to an end this incessant impeachment that have become a chariot, that have become a weapon to be used against a governor that was elected by all the local, that was elected by everybody in all the local government of the state.
Nigeria's health authorities have confirmed 2 fresh cases of Ebola virus in the country. This brings to 4 the number of Ebola patients undergoing treatment at the Lagos isolation ward in Lagos. Health Minister Onyebuchi Chukwu, as usual, did not mention names but disclosed that the 2 patients are spouses of 2 Nigerians diagnosed with Ebola. The report.
It's another in a series of regular briefing on the Ebola virus in Nigeria. And coming few days after Health Minister Onyebuchi Chukwu had denied new Ebola cases, many journalists were eager for an update. The minister announced 2 fresh cases whom he identified as spouses of 2 Nigerians who had primary contact with the index case.
Nigeria has now recorded the first 2 cases of Ebola virus disease in secondary contacts of the index case, that is the Liberian American. The 2 patients are spouses of the primary contacts of the Liberian American, and they are among the secondary contacts who have been under surveillance. This now brings to 4 the total number of Ebola virus disease patients currently under treatment at the isolation ward in Lagos.
There had been reports of poor treatment of Ebola patients in the isolation ward, but the minister is quick to clear the air on the condition of patients in quarantine.
Where the patient is anemic and needs blood, we transfuse. So a few of the patients actually had blood transfusion. And then nutrition, micronutrients, everything about nutrition. Okay? And some papers were reporting there were issues with food. We have investigated, talked to family members. Everybody says no. Reason being that the food is tailored to each specific patient.
He also spoke on local efforts to get a cure for the disease.
We're still, remember, we set up a treatment research group, and they are working. Okay, just that the work they are producing for now, they have not, it's not conclusive, so we cannot for now report to the media. But they are working. They're already identifying so many of these experimental drugs that some other people have used. But all of them are experimental, and hopefully soon they would give the Minister of Health a definitive advice on what we should do.
And in spite of the increase in the number of Ebola cases in the country, the health minister says there is no cause to panic. He insists that with 5 previous cases cleared to go home, Nigeria has the highest percentage of Ebola survivors in the world.
The federal government has stated that it is further stepping up its surveillance at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos to prevent another cross-border transmission of the deadly Ebola virus disease to Nigeria. Director of Port Health Services at the airport, Morenike Alex Oku, says since the Lagos airport is a major aviation hub in the West African sub-region, the screening services will not be relaxed. Alex Oku spoke in Lagos while taking delivery of 30 non-contact forehead infrared thermometers donated by the United States Diplomatic Mission in Nigeria to the federal government. The senior port health official noted that since the Indes Ebola case of the late Liberian American Patrick Sawyer was recorded at the Lagos airport, the MMA authorities had remained on full alert. According to her, the 30 thermometers newly donated by the U.S. government for use at the airport were more accurate than what was being used for the detection of probable Ebola patients among arriving and departing passengers. You're watching CoreTV News at 7. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back with more stories. Stay with us.
This is This is our city. You know it. Our city needs heroes. Yeah, yeah. Our future is in our hands. The spirit of Lagos. A city that is strong in value. A Lagos that is
the spirit of Lagos.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
I'll be back on CoreTV News at 7, now outside in Nigeria. A Libyan Coast Guard official says a boat carrying 200 illegal migrants from sub-Saharan Africa was fair lost at sea off the capital Tripoli, with 170 people still missing. Libya, which is mired in unrest and political chaos, has been a launchpad for illegal migrants seeking a better life in Europe, but would turn to people smugglers to get them across the Mediterranean. Since the end of July, dozens of people who have set off on rickety boats from the Libyan coast have died at sea, and dozens more have gone missing, presumed drowned. The immigrants, who are believed to be Africans, on a wooden boat founded off the Goralboli area. The Coast Guard in the area was lacking in resources and had only one patrol boat to search for the missing people. The body of a child was reportedly seen, who was nevertheless wearing a life jacket. The Coast Guard official was, however, unable to give any firm details of the nationalities of the victims or survivors. He added that, though, that it seemed that among them are Somalians and Eritreans. German Chancellor Angela Merkel arrived in Kiev Saturday for crisis talks with Ukraine's pro-Western leaders as a controversial aid convoy from Moscow began crossing back from the war-torn east of the country to Russia. The West had demanded that Russia withdraw its disputed tracts after the Kremlin Unitarians sent them to the insurgent stronghold of the Lugansk on Friday in a move Kiev decried as an invasion. An observer for the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe at the border says some of the white lorries had returned to Russia but could not specify how many were still inside Ukraine. U.S. President Barack Obama and Merkel had warned following a telephone call that a Russian decision to send in the convoy marked a dangerous escalation of the 4 months of the conflict in Ukraine, with Western fears mounting that it could presage Moscow sending in troops. Merkel will have to tread a fine line in Ukraine, showing firm support for Kiev's pro-Western leaders while also pushing for them to show restraint in their increasingly successful but brutal offensive. Merkel, the most influential Western leader to visit Ukraine's pro-Western government, will hold talks with President Petro Poroshenko 3 days ahead of the first meeting a month between Poroshenko and Russian leader Vladimir Putin in Minsk, alongside top EU officials. And that does it for news at 7. Many thanks for watching. Join us at 9:45 p.m. for our primetime news. I am Frank Omalape. I'll see you again.